Welcome to a new daily top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
What's the most memorable quote you have ever came across that stayed with you forever? Givers must set boundaries because takers never do. Reminds me of one I love. Being nice has a price that the genuine never pay and the fake can't afford. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Give a man a fire, he's warm for a day. Set a man on fire and he's warm for the rest of his life. Comparison is the thief of joy. This helped my Warhammer painting so much. Another one that could work for Warhammer minis is, my bank balance is the thief of joy. Once I became a parent, the days are long but the years are short. My daughter just turned 12 and I am feeling this in my very soul. How can my daughter be 25 when I'm not even 25 yet? My daughter turns 12 in a month. I don't know where the time went. One day I was teaching her to walk and now she argues like her mother. I also have a 6-year-old and a 14-month-old, so at least I still have years of enjoying the little ones. People will forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Quote, also Maya Angelou, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness. That is life. Jean-Luc Picard. I like that we have so many insanely deep quotes from powerful philosophers, thinks, scientists, spiritualists, etc. But sometimes the biggest gem just comes from scriptwriter on weekly TV show that tapped into something good that day. I don't get it. I don't get what I did wrong. Not everything's a lesson, Ryan. Sometimes, you just fail. Tilda Dwight and Ryan, The Office S3E5. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Alvin Toffler. We see this in practice in America daily in nearly every avenue regarding the education system. As it turns out, the illiterate of the 21st century are actually illiterate. According to the teachers on Reddit anyway. As a teacher who frequents the teacher subreddit, I think the trend isn't towards illiteracy but towards functional illiteracy. Illiteracy is the inability to read. Most people can read. What many have trouble with is understanding at a deep level of what they read. People can read you a passage out loud but fail to adequately explain what the passage means unless it is dead simple. Like many of the rest of the ills of society, I feel like it comes from our unwillingness to engage the brain in a meaningful way. When I got engaged, an old woman I worked with pulled me aside and said, "Oh hon, I know you love her. Make sure you like her, too. 18 years married. Never been happier. About 2 years in, my husband and I were on the cusp of breaking up, even though we loved each other and knew we were meant to be. I had the epiphany that I needed to treat him like a friend. I was still young and dumb, and not like a project to fix or someone to take my frustrations out on. From that point on, I would question my words and actions first. Would I say this to a friend? And our relationship improved dramatically. We've been together 22 years. Kudos for being able to change. Some never do. My dad said this to me young and it's guided me well. Your partner should be first and foremost your best friend. When I lost my 17-year-old son, I found a quote that reads, "It's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years." It stayed with me because in that short time he lived, he filled his days with a deep and honest caring for others, joyous laughter and fun, and a special spirit that was irresistibly contagious to everyone who was lucky enough to know him. I'm so sorry for your loss. I cannot even imagine your pain, heart. That quote is beautiful and accurate. Thank you. Pink heart. The difference between a dream and a goal is a deadline. The true test of a man's character is how he treats someone that can offer him nothing. Character is what we do when no one is watching. And those who were dancing were thought to be crazy by the ones who couldn't hear the music. Nietzsche. I had this as my phone background for years. I'm now on antipsychotics. Antipsychotics are a requirement for thinking you understand Nietzsche. People overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what they can accomplish in 5. Quote, the version I heard was, most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. But your version also holds true. A great man plants trees, the shade of which he'll never sit beneath. This reminds me of a quote from, I believe, Thomas Paine, if there must be war let it be in my time so my children may see peace. Might also be Thomas Jefferson. I really don't remember. If there must be trouble, let it be in my day, that my child may have peace. Thomas Paine, from The American Crisis, 1776. Beware of he who would deny you access to information, for in his heart he dreams himself your master. Praveen Lal. If I become like you, who will be like me? One of my employers had it on the wall of the office in early 1990s, and it stuck with me ever since. I have heard of a quote which is somewhat similar to this: if you ain't who you are, who are you? Quote. What is the price you pay for the money you make? Quote. On a similar note, someone once told me that there's a big difference between earning money and receiving money. Most people earn more than they receive, and the ones that receive the most usually haven't earned it. What is the price for your happiness? This is what my brother told me when I was considering working 60+ hours a week on a $32,000 per year salary with a 1-year-old. Turns out, way more than that. I left and never looked back. That was 11 years ago. Personality predates ideology. Before they were a fascist, they were a bully and an asshole. Brennan Lee Mulligan's philosophy professor. Edit, corrected our Lord and Savior Brennan's name. Totally, people do not reason themselves into their beliefs. They need, fear, anger themselves there. We accept the love we think we deserve. Straight Up explains a lot of relationships that don't make sense. From the book, The 4 Agreements, by Miguel Ruiz. In your whole life nobody has ever abused you more than you have abused yourself, and the limit of your self-abuse is exactly the limit that you will tolerate from someone else. If someone abuses you a little more than you abuse yourself, you will probably walk away from that person. But if someone abuses you a little less than you abuse yourself, you'll probably stay in the relationship and tolerate it endlessly. If you abuse yourself very badly, you can even tolerate someone who beats you up, humiliates you, and treats you like dirt. Why? Because in your belief system, you say, I deserve it. This person is doing me a favor by being with me. I am not worthy of love and respect. I am not good enough. My mom told me years ago, don't get good at a job you hate. I am also Native American and my tribe tells me, how can you soar like an eagle if you surround yourself with turkeys? I never understood what that meant till I got older. The problem is everyone thinks they're the eagle and everyone else is the turkeys. Don't cross oceans for people who won't cross a puddle for you. Just because it's not your fault doesn't mean it's not your responsibility. Quote. That's a hard one to come to terms with. A lot of people who have major trauma miss this lesson, and they suffer their entire lives because of it. I like to say I didn't make the mess I am, but I'm the only one left to clean it up. One moment of patience, in a moment of anger, can save 1,000 moments of regret. If you don't build your dream, someone will hire you to build theirs. The reasonable man adapts himself to the world, the unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. George Bernard Shaw. You'll stop caring what people think about you when you realize how seldom they do. Quote. I used this on my 12-year-old niece as part of a little experiment. She was too self-conscious to take part in an outdoor water park, so I showed her how she saw people around her and she was able to infer they probably saw the same. I told her the quote and then I pointed at a stranger, had her look for a second, and asked her to tell me what she'd thought of the stranger before I pointed. She hadn't noticed them. I tried again. Bright girl, she got it in 2, okay fine. And she went to change and enjoyed the day without worrying what others thought. It lasted a few months but something's changed lately and she's self-conscious again. Sad face. She's self-conscious again. That's just being a teenager. Everyone goes through it before figuring out the energy to care isn't worth the illusory reward of, ultimately nothing. I don't know shit about fuck. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done him better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Teddy Roosevelt. My husband introduced me to this section of his speech. For Christmas, I gave him a framed print with this. Whenever someone gives me crap for trying something new and failing, I think of this and reply, at least I tried, instead of just wondering. This one has stuck with me since hearing it as a young sergeant. Leadership is solving problems. The day soldiers stop bringing you their problems is the day you have stopped leading them. They have either lost confidence that you can help or concluded you do not care. Either case is a failure of leadership. Colin Powell. The proper function of man is to live, not to exist. I shall not waste my days in trying to prolong them. I shall use my time. Jack London. I tell you, we are here on earth to fart around, and don't let anybody tell you different. Kurt Vonnegut. The purpose of human life, no matter who is controlling it, is to love whoever is around to be loved. Also Kurt Vonnegut. If you wouldn't let someone live in your house, don't let them live in your head. Pairs with don't take to heart negative feedback from people you wouldn't go to for advice. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. I once used, be kind, you never know who lost an argument with a 3-year-old today. Quote. You might seem insignificant, but you have forever changed everything and everyone you touched. The world is changed for you having existed. Edit. Wow, you're all amazing. You changed my day. Thank you all for the opportunity to read your words. You may seem insignificant, but you can shut down an entire restaurant with just a single pubic hair. No matter where you go, well, there you are. Buckaroo Banzai. A slightly more profound version is, no matter where you go, you take yourself with you. I know so many people who moved far away trying to escape their problems. That doesn't help if the problem is inside you. There's right and there's dead right. My mother said that to a young me when driving and getting mad that someone didn't use a turn signal and nearly drove me off the road. Cemeteries are filled with people who had right of way. Be predictable, not polite. Both good quotes I got when learning to drive. Bicyclists who have the right of way lol. I worked at a place that had an exit along the bike trail. At least twice I witnessed an ambulance putting a cyclist on a stretcher. So who knows how often it actually happened. When I bike I'm more concerned with what I think cars are going to do than whether or not I can legally go. People are so dumb.